Hello, dear friends, and welcome to Grace Thoughts with Chill. And I want to believe and thank God for all of you. I thank God for every single one of you, and I thank God for the amazing things He is doing in your lives, for the wonders of His expression in you, or His expressions, the expressions of this eternal life, this life of God in each one of us. I thank God for you. I thank God for your families. I thank God for your businesses. I thank God for you, the services you render to the world, how you are transforming the world based on what you hear, what you've received from our gracious God. Glory to His name forever. Glory to His name forever. Today, dear friends, I'm going to be dealing with something, one of the bad habits we pick up in religion. That's one of the things we do here to help you identify some of those bad habits we pick up and that are messing up our lives and putting us in so much trouble in our lives. Religion is full of bad habits. So renewal of mind also involves dropping these bad habits that we pick up from religion. It's almost impossible not to pick up these bad habits because they are pumped into the stream of what comes out of many denominations and a lot of preaching. It's just they pump. It keeps coming and coming. It's like an avalanche. That is designed to sweep you off and sweep you into a sea of darkness and pain and suffering and weakness. So when we come here to renew our minds, we sometimes touch some of those bad habits and help you identify, recognize them, and deal with them. The one we shall be dealing with today is grading miracles in the flesh. Grading miracles in the flesh. Sometime in the past, quite a long time ago, I did one called Stop Grading Sin. I'm not sure whether that's the topic, but something close to that. Grading sin. We dealt with that, grading sin in the flesh. So we talked about how people have some big sins, small sins, medium sins, mortal sins, venial sins. Like there are so many grades of sin, so many shades and colors. Some God can forgive, others God cannot forgive, or will wait until you do A, B, C, D, and then He might consider forgiving you. And some are like it's all that, and we spoke about that at length. But today I'm going to do another a kind of complementary, because what Jesus did for us dealt with both sin and sickness. It's the two big categories that you could use to define or describe the finished works of Jesus and its effects will be sin, that's the moral sphere, and sickness. That sickness will cover not just the physical and psychological sphere, but sickness will cover all other circumstances. And that's why I use the word miracles. Miracles, and I'm using miracles loosely, not in the biblical definition, but I'm using miracles loosely to represent healings, signs, wonders, amazing acts of God, blessings, victory, success. I'm using miracles for that, like in a loose way to cover all that. All right. So what we do many times, we pick it up in churches, is we grade miracles, and then we begin to compare ourselves with other people, and then we say this one is not powerful because he or she can only work smaller miracles, and then this other one is very powerful because he or she can work bigger miracles. We use this to grade pastors, grade priests, grade men of God, grade women of God, compare one another, compare churches and denominations, this denomination is more powerful because they experience more and bigger miracles than that denomination is not powerful. And then you see, we just compare: men do more, women do less, or this woman does more, that woman does less, that man. So we just busy doing all these comparisons, and we gone. It also kind of makes many of us work hard to, we enter into this fleshly seeking of the spectacular. Yeah, that's the word. Fleshly seeking of the spectacular. It's like the supernatural must be confirmed by the spectacular, by the newsworthy, by what's in the news. So you talk about miracles, and people say, but why is it that we don't hear about that in the news? Like, why is it not broadcast on CNN or BBC or some big TV? And then we begin to think that the people we see on TV, for example, are the powerful ones, are the great ones, because they are doing great miracles. Do you know that all these things I just outlined are obstacles for experiencing the grace of God? They are real obstacles. Like, you are putting blocks in your way of experiencing God. When you grade miracles and use miracles, their size and how spectacular they are, to judge God, to judge God's love, to judge God's action, to compare yourselves, to compare people with other people, compare Christians, you grade them, and that's absolutely wrong. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. And we're going to read two verses very quickly. The first one is John chapter 5 and verse 20. Jesus says, "For the Father loves the Son and shows him all that he himself is doing, and greater works than these will he show him, so that you may marvel." Greater, watch this, greater works than these will he show him. So when you read this, you begin to say, oh, that's confirmation that there are smaller works and then there are greater works. So Jesus supports you. What are you saying? And people, go and talk about greater works and greater works and greater works. And he says that greater works than these will he show him, so that you may marvel. And this looks like support for judging or grading works. But ask yourself this question: is Jesus grading these works in the flesh or in the spirit? Remember, the title is Grading Miracles in the Flesh. We shall see that. But let's go to John chapter 14, verse number 12, where he speaks again of these greater works. Verse 12, he says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do, because I am going to the Father." Jesus says, the one who believes in me will do greater works. Is he grading the works? Yes. Is he grading the works in the flesh or in the spirit? And I'm going to show you the difference. Jesus is grading the works in these two passages. He's grading the works in the spirit, not in the flesh. You see, when you grade the works in the flesh and compare yourselves one with another, you're saying that the person who believes in Jesus is more powerful than Jesus. Because he says that person will do greater works, greater in number, greater in quality. If you are seeing this in the flesh, this is the automatic logical conclusion that if you're comparing yourself, who believes in Jesus, and Jesus himself, you do greater works. Jesus did in comparison with you, Jesus did less works, then you are greater than Jesus. That's what we call the flesh. That's what people do with sins. That's also what they do with miracles. You take this, and in every other sphere, when people use this to compare themselves, it's always the same. It is comparing themselves with themselves, comparing their churches with other churches, and so on and so forth. That's what you call grading miracles in the flesh, just to boost your ego, just to boost your pride. And the only way you can do this is if you read these two things I just read, these two passages. You have to take them out of context to support your ideas about great miracles. Same thing with sins. Now, what is the reason God does miracles? Why does God do miracles? Why does God do these works in and through us? Is it to show off to our flesh, or is it to reveal His nature and character and His love? Now, if it is to reveal His nature and character and love, then it is in the Spirit. But if it is to show off, if it is to show how powerful you are, then that is the flesh. So you have to understand flesh and spirit. God is not doing these miracles to show off. He's not doing these miracles to show how powerful it is. These miracles flow from His nature and character and love. And that's the difference between flesh and spirit. Flesh exalts the self. Spirit lifts up the other. So if God heals a headache, it is the same as if He healed a cancer. Same. In both, He is expressing His character and His love. Yes, cancer is worse in terms of its consequences than a headache, but that's only when considered in the flesh. For God, it's just Him being Himself, being love. And the power, therefore, that He uses to heal a headache is the same power He uses to heal cancer. It's the same power because it flows from the same love. When I did grading of sin, I told you the one who said thou shalt not steal is the one who said thou shalt not kill. The one who says thou shalt not steal a pen is the one who says thou shalt not commit genocide. So genocide and stealing a pen in the spirit are one, because there is one lawgiver, there is one person that it came from. Of course, that is when you are dealing with those who are under the law. That's where this analogy works perfectly. Okay, so when God works a miracle and God takes away or just protects you, shows you a vision, let's say, gives you guidance to escape cutting your finger, is the same as if He uses guidance to draw you or pull you out from being hit by a train. Same thing in the spirit, because He's just showing, He's revealing, He's being Himself. Let me use that word. God is just being God. When God works miracles, He is being God. Whether the miracle is in your eyes, in your fleshly eyes, small or big, it's just God being God. If you look at the two verses that I read for you, let's now read them in context. Let's start with John 14:12. It says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do." It says, "Because I am going to the Father." So He's saying these works are revealing the Father, and as time goes on, the Father will be revealed more and more. That's what He means by greater. More and more, after He goes to heaven, sits at the right hand of the Father, he takes up a new position in heaven, a new position of power in heaven, by which He exalts us to be more revelatory of the nature of the Father. And that's why we will do greater works. Look at what goes before it. I told you it's about context. Look at verse 11. Verse 11, it says, believe me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Believe me because I am in the Father is in me. So he's saying this is revealing the nature of the Father in me. The works that I do are revealing the nature of the Father in me. So the works you do as well is not revealing how powerful you are, or how much fasting you have done, or how much closer to God, how much you have sought God, how much you have prayed, how many hours you spend in tongues. That's not what is revealing. It's revealing the nature of the Father. That's what the works are there for. And finally, let's go to chapter 5 verse 20, which we read earlier, and read it in context. Look at chapter 5 verse 20. What had just happened? Jesus had just healed a man at the pool on the Sabbath day who had been sick for 38 years. So he had done a mighty miracle. It's a big work. So gives you the background. Now, look at verse 20 that we read. It says, for the Father loves the Son and shows him what he himself is doing. So in that verse 20 already tells you that this is the Father showing the Son what he is doing. The Father is the one healing the sick, casting out demons, working these miracles, signs and wonders. This is what he is doing. When it is a breaking forth in a life, it is a manifestation, as we have taught you. It's a manifestation. But this is what God does this is his nature. This is his love flowing normally. God is just living God life. He's not trying to prove a point. He's not trying to prove a point about power. Prove a point to who? For what reason would he need to prove that he's powerful? He's just being himself. Now look at verse 20. It says, verse 21 says, for as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son gives life to whom he wants. Look at verse 19, just to give you context. Verse 19 says, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing of his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, that the Son does likewise. So this is just saying these works are revealing who the Father is. It's not there to prove about who is more powerful, who is greater, who has spent more time, who is closer, who is right, who is wrong. That's the flesh in action. And when you begin to operate in the Spirit, you see all the works as revealing or revelatory of who the Father is. That's how you renew your mind and you stop these bad habits of grading miracles in the flesh and using these miracles to compare yourselves with yourselves. You are blessed.
Grace gives the license to proclaim his mercy to the whole world.